All right, everyone. Good Friday afternoon. Here it is. Pass Rush Friday. And I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is the future looks promising. The bad news is the present is non existent. So, this game against the Houston Texans seemed like a great opportunity to jumpstart the pass rush, and it sputtered. The engine sputtered a little bit, but it certainly didn't start. That was pretty bad. The Texans dropped back to pass a lot in that game. They had a lot of pass attempts, and we did not generate that much pressure against those pass attempts. How little? Let's break it down. But we're going to start with the positive. Of the pressures that were accrued on Sunday against the Texans, two of them belong to Alton Robinson. And Alton Robinson is a guy who could be part of this team's future. He's got some. He hasn't had the season that I wanted him to have, but there are a lot of reasons why that might be. I like Alton. I think he's pretty good. And he had a solid game against Houston. He was getting some pressure. He was getting in there. He was involved. So for him to get two pressures in that game, that's encouraging to me. We also had a pressure from Benson Mayowa and one from Rasheem Green. Now that's not as important. Mayowa and Green are both Jags. I don't think both of them will be here next year. Maybe Mayowa will be here just because he has that weird contract, but he's certainly not ever going to be anything more than what he is right now. I don't think he's been around too long. And Rasheem Green, avert your eyes, children. Don't fall for it. He is making a contract year push right now. He has 8 pressures in his last 5 games. He's trying to get a little bit of money, but don't fall for it. Dunlap, no pressures. Kerry Hyder, no pressures. And the defensive end room, minus Taylor, had 4 pressures total. Defensive tackles, not a whole lot going on here. Poona Ford, nada. LJ Collier, nada. I saw his number a few times, but no pressure. Monet didn't play a whole lot because he got hurt. Al Woods, one of the best players that we had in that game, had a pressure. He actually had half a sack. He did his thing. He did his thing. It's nice to have an Al Woods around, right? Like in this season, which has been mostly really disappointing, Al Woods has overachieved like crazy. And I will give the front office credit because I didn't like the signing when we made it, but Al Woods has been awesome. Okay, so that's it for the defensive line. And we started on a positive note, so we are going to end on a positive note as well. We're going to go down to the linebackers. And Bobby Wagner, nothing. Jordan Brooks, nothing. Darrell Taylor, the man of the hour. 3 QB pressures in one game, and you will remember he had a sack taken away by the Sidney Jones penalty. So Darrell Taylor, he's good. He had his best game since coming back from the injury, maybe his best game of the year. I don't know. I don't know if I would go that far. He was playing the Texans, but everyone else on our team was playing the Texans, and he was the only one who got 3 pressures. He was the only guy who looked consistently disruptive out there. So he currently tied for team lead in pressures with 17. He's by far the team leader in sacks. I think he's a couple sacks short of the rookie record for a Seahawk. Excuse me. And hey, Darrell Taylor is part of this future. One way or the other, he's going to be here for a little bit. He needs to be really good for us to turn the ship around quickly, I think. We're betting a lot on Darrell Taylor being a really good pass rusher for us going forward. So that's the good news. Darrell Taylor and Alton Robinson provided a lot of pressure in this game. And hey, it's the Texans. I want to see it against better teams, but I'll take what I can get. At the end of the day, the Texans were the only team we played on Sunday. We didn't play anybody else. So I can only look at this one game for this one week. Cody Barton played a little bit at linebacker, but no pressures, and Baloran Radigan did not play. So that's it for the linebackers. And earlier I insinuated that that was going to be the end on a happy note because there's nothing else. Cornerbacks, nada. Safeties, Nada. Jamal's out, of course. 8 QB pressures against this terrible team with this terrible offensive line, with their best offensive lineman out, against a rookie quarterback. You get 8 pressures and 2 sacks. Early this season, the pass rush disappointed me. I didn't really like what I was seeing against the Titans and Vikings. The Rams game disappointed me, obviously. Like we can go down the list here, but it's gotten worse, man. I know these guys are probably wearing out a little bit because they're playing so much, but some of these guys should not have a problem with that. Darrell Taylor's young. Alton Robinson is young, and yeah, those were the 2 guys who actually got some pressure today, but I don't think all these guys have an excuse to just be completely worn out at this point. So, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it, but even a bad pass rush should be able to get it done against Houston. We played most of the game with a lead. Houston dropped back to pass constantly in that game, gave us plenty of opportunities, and not a whole lot to speak of. Now, obviously, we had the 1 sack wiped off the board because of the holding call on Sidney Jones, but even with that, single-digit pressures. And we got 4 games left. We're trying to salvage this season. I don't know. I don't know how many pressures we're going to get against the Rams, but something tells me we might set some sort of futility record there. Like, I could see, 3 pressures. All right, so 4 games left. Most of these guys are not going to live up to expectations. In some cases, the expectations were born of not understanding what their role would be. I never thought Benson Mayo was going to spend most of his time in coverage. I never would have thought that Poona Ford would be this incapable of getting to the quarterback when he moves to 3-tech. I never thought LJ Collier was going to be shelved for most of the year. It surprises me. And as of right now, we are on pace to have about 140, 145 pressures on the season. That's not good enough. Not good enough at all. And somehow this defense continues to actually play well, which is cool. But I think pressure, little QB pressure, might turn some of these 10-play drives into 4-play drives. Might get some turnovers as well. Might turn some of these 1-turnover games into 3-turnover games. Just a hunch. If you're wondering why we've got a losing record, that's part of it, man. The defense, they can hold serve like nobody's business. They hold serve like crazy. But I'm looking for that knockout blow, and many of these games it doesn't come. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later today. Peace out, go Hawks. That's the pass rush.